within life. Canal YouTube active. We're live. Go to YouTube if you want, so you can see the picture that I have. So, sup everyone. This is a different format. Basically, we're not even gonna pretend to be formal with this one. This is just people venturing. Normally, I would be having these conversations off air, but because I'm trying to grow a channel, I'm like, why don't I make it a podcast then? And that's how it happened. We were supposed to have a few other people. Zero, it's coming through in a few. Um, Dark Link was supposed to join, but he has some issues. He will join later. He will join next week. And Akira, if he comes, he comes. If he can't, he's at work. Tough life. Let me introduce you my co-host, Weeb.
What's up? Yeah,
So
this is
this is the
yeah,
definition of a weeb, eh? One
yeah.
Piece. You can't even make it more weeb than One Piece.
yeah. Finally, a podcast all about me.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Uh, Before we start, I'm actually catching up with 86. I'm literally at the final episode.
Oh yeah, it's
I,
great, isn't it?
I love it. I dislike how they did episode 11. He genuinely should have had opened the hatch and had her join them. That would have made
Oh
my day.
no, no. I love this one. How they did that. I
Okay. I don't know what's gonna happen with episode 12. I have my hunch. If it's what it is, I will see what it is. We
you still have to see the last episode, right?
Yeah, which is
Okay,
exactly what I'm expecting. Exactly. So
okay.
other than that, yeah,
No
no.
trouble. Yeah.
Uh, I'm waiting on Zero. So before I start with the chapter, um, how long have you been fan of One Piece, and where did you start? Because until less than a week ago, I had absolutely no idea you're a fan.
Oh, you had no idea. Okay.
No, I had no idea.
I'll send you a picture of my collection. Next, I have two.
No, I believe you. It's just I simply had no idea.
No, I'm not saying you believe me. I just want to show you how big a fan I am. I have two display cases full with Mega House One Piece figures. So yeah, I've been with One Piece for a while. I don't know when I started exactly. I think I started with the anime, but not the original one. I'm not sure what it was. But we used to go on holiday, abroad and had a satellite dish and we had all these channels and a lot of German channels, and there was a German dub of One Piece, and I can understand German, and it was actually pretty good. I mean, I think the Germans and maybe the French are pretty good in dubbing anime because they approximate the voices of the characters and they yeah, when something is in English, it always has a sense of, either they're trying to force their voice to sound like yeah, a character, or completely yeah, like a sort of typical stereotype what they think the character should sound like, and it often feels so authentic. So, but no, that's my rant about dubs. But yeah, that's when I got introduced to One Piece, and I think it was up until the Alabasta arc, and that's where it stopped, and that's where I started reading the manga. So from the Skypiea arc onwards, and yeah, and I mean, I've yeah, I've watched the anime on and off. I mean, I generally just wait until an arc finishes because we both know the pacing of the anime.
Yeah,
Um,
binging One Piece is better than just
yeah,
watching. Well,
yeah.
I realized that a while. That's why I stopped watching One Piece, despite the fact I had him blast with the Anno arc. It it's better to just binge it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but the manga, I'm reading that religiously. Now every Friday morning before I get out of bed, I check is a new chapter there, and then I'll read that first, and then I get up.
As
That's how
for
I start my
me,
day.
you, I actually, so I have two rituals. I used to read the chapter with YouTubers. Basically, I watch them and I listen to the chapter. After I read it very quick, I skipped the boring part, the expedition part, mostly because you're gonna get that uh, all the way through with the reviewers. They're gonna go all over it. Um, which is what we're gonna do. We're gonna script for the not boring, but more like like for example, we're not gonna do this chapter page by page. We're just gonna focus on what we like and where we go from there. And then I stopped. Yeah. I at some point I I am involved with One Piece so much I wanted to start a podcast. No, no. Before that, I would be literally talking. How I talked with you for an hour or something about One Piece. I would be doing that with a friend of mine for a while now. We did it for 3 weeks, and I'm like, okay, if you have time to do it, let's make a podcast out of it. And he agreed. He's gonna join us in a few. I'm giving him time because he is in the USA, and I'm pretty sure he is at work on his way home.
Mm.
Um,
In
okay.
in the
Wow.
meantime, yeah,
You got a collection.
yeah, it's crazy.
Who is the lady next to Ace? I don't recall her.
Check. Uh, yeah, there are two ladies next to him. Either Boa Hancock or you mean
The
Tashigi.
yellow one.
That's Tashigi.
Oh, okay. Nice collection.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's one of my best. And yeah, I know that the stuff is slow and stuff like that, but I'm like, I I used to be okay with that until I realized, yeah, no, it's slow.
Yeah, it's a chapter density, right? Normally, an episode should have like 2, 3 chapters per episode, and One Piece really drags one chapter for an entire episode, and you notice that.
It's like they have, they can make so many filler episodes about, for example, um, not even fillers, plain simple canon episode. They can make so many filler episodes.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
example, uh,
you mean the cover stories?
yeah, for example,
Yeah.
cover story. For example, fight he skipped over Akainu versus Aokiji. Like I understand. No, I don't understand why he's skipping it. I thought maybe because he doesn't want to spoil the power. But no, he already did that with Marineford. Unless Akainu gained new ability, which would be Awakening. Which again, you gotta be awakened in order to alternate the entire weather like that.
Yeah, it's part. I think that the manga really has quite surprisingly compared to the anime. The manga, every chapter is really dense with a lot of things. You really see that sometimes there's things cut just to keep the pace running. That they has to put in everything in one chapter, right?
Oh
That you
yeah,
don't see.
especially with the annual thing that they're cutting a lot of stuff and they're actually adding in by the in the anime.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you aware of the One Piece dub or sorry fans translations.
I heard of it, but I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, I've seen I've watched it for the whole Cake Island arc was a lot more watchable with this version,
Mm,
but it's not superior overall because afterwards I had some issues with it because they sometimes there were rough cuts where you saw okay they cut here and then suddenly the music changes, right? So mid song, and they have a tendency to be a bit too strict because sometimes you see like they cut because in like in the manga you don't see how a character moves from A to B, and that's not an issue because it's a manga chapter or a panel, right? So you don't see actual movement, so it doesn't matter. But for an anime, it matters because if a character suddenly one side of the room and then in the next frame in the next side of the room it feels weird that you didn't see them walk there, right? And that's what they add in the anime, and that's fine. That's a thing you need to add in the anime. But they also cut things like that because it's not in the manga. So that's where it gets weird. That's where you do need to be careful if you want to cut down the bullshit, right? The fillers. You do need to be careful not to cut too much because then it doesn't flow naturally as an anime. There's a reason why you animate those things.
1 second. Someone is saying, James William is saying, "Hey Omar, I didn't know that you read One Piece manga." James, have you seen my avatar? It's it's literally Luffy and the gang on my Discord. Maybe it's not visible. Let me see if it's visible or not.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't recognize it either.
Oh, you didn't know either? That's epic. Yeah, no, I'm a huge anime fan, especially One Piece. So welcome. Um, just so you know, this is full spoilers for chapter 1.6. Just, uh, just need you to make sure you're not getting spoiled. Um, also, I'm stalling a little bit because I'm waiting on a friend. But after 5 minutes, if he doesn't come, we're gonna cover it, and you can leave if you need to sleep. And if he comes, then I do a part 2 with him in it.
Sure.
Okay, if you read it last night, then welcome. I'm curious how you proceeded. So, I'm just gonna go with the end. Luffy never proceeds to be broken. But it's like no matter how you spin it, slice it, dice it, no matter what you do, either he conjured a lightning bolt, or he is capable of just grabbing lightning bolt.
Well, technically he always was because he's rubber.
But he never did it though.
Well, he never had a chance to, I guess. But yeah,
Nah, nah,
I
nah, 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 nah,
I
nah,
I
nah,
I, I
nah, nah,
think
nah,
I think
nah.
it's part.
Against NL, you didn't have a chance. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, but Enel never actually threw proper lightning bolts. He always had like a lightning animal or the beam from the sky. He never really threw proper lightning bolts, I think. But yeah, I think it's part of. I mean, that's probably the reason why they chose lightning. But I think also yeah, it probably has to do with the nature of yeah what we now know what is true devil fruit is. I believe it was the Hitonomi model
Nika. Mm,
Nika. Yeah, yeah. Because they said like in the previous not the previous chapter, not the one before that, where they explained it like he basically can do whatever he imagines he can do, right?
And that's
So
why I said it's broken.
yeah, yeah.
Here is the thing. I thought, we all thought, everything he can do with the compound of rubber. But this is now going beyond rubber.
Well, it could still be because if let's say if
No,
there's actually natural lightning and he just grabs it, then you could say, okay, because he's rubber, he has lightning doesn't affect him. And it's stupid, of course, but even with Enel, it was kind of like, okay, so he can punch light. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. He could punch Enel when he was in pure lightning. So he can physically touch lightning. So this isn't actually a stretch. This actually is technically possible with his powers. And now that he's, gear 5, probably that enhances his power so much that he can actually just, grab lightning from the sky and just, you know, throw it.
let's count what he have done so far with Gear 5, shall we? He
Sure.
ran on air,
Mm.
correct?
Well, he technically could do that before, right? Yeah.
But
With
with this one, he left fire on air.
yeah. But yeah,
So
to be fair, he also has that signature move in honor of Ace, right? Where he can also.
no, no, no. This is no longer so here's the thing. That's how people justified Red Hawk. Red Hawk always made no sense. Same with Thor move, which One Piece have all these small, not per se plot holes, but more like plot holes in waiting. What I mean by that, look at Blackbeard eating two different fruits at the same time. That's a small plot hole which is gonna get explained.
Well,
And
no, 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 no. It's not a plot hole because a plot hole would mean an inconsistency, but
yes,
they
that's why
actually
I said
wait, no, no, but without explaining it, so that they just because yeah, they explain you can only have one devil fruit, though, but and then you see somebody having two and they just ignore it. No, they actually said, okay, yeah, no, nobody ever had two devil fruit powers in history in the world, and so there's something going on. So it's not a plot hole. It
let
it's
me
it's part of the plot.
let me
But it
explain
doesn't
what I
mean.
meant with plot hole. I said it. I literally said it. Plot hole in waiting, in the sense of it's a plot hole right now. If it
No,
gets
no, 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 no. Yeah, okay, but I
That's
understand
why I
what you.
said in waiting because
Yeah, but
I
that doesn't
know
exist.
Oda will cover it. I'm pretty sure Oda will cover it. But if he doesn't cover it, then it turns into a plot hole. You get me now? I don't know what other name to call it. If you have a better name, then feel free to give it to
Well,
me.
yeah, because you say plot. A plot hole is a critique of a story where where they uh
Okay, then
don't.
how about inconsistency? Is that
Well, yeah,
better?
a plot hole is an inconsistency, but this is not an inconsistency because
But
it's let me explain to you because if they first explain you can only have one devil fruit power and then they show somebody with two devil fruit powers and they don't mention that. They don't say anything about it, and just from now on, everybody can have two devil or unlimited devil fruit powers, and yeah, that's an inconsistency or a plot hole because there's no explanation for that because previously that's impossible. But now they immediately acknowledge that okay, but this shouldn't be possible, but somehow he's done that. So it's part of the plot, but we have to wait for the explanation, and that explanation will probably make sense in the context of the One Piece universe. So it
I,
won't be inconsistent. It's not a plot hole. It's just a plot point that hasn't been explained yet.
Okay, plot points then. It's tough. And what I mean by that is stuff that Abiyato Oda have yet to explain.
Yeah.
And that's still in sense of it makes no sense for it to be that way. Like for example, Luffy uh, Thor move never made sense for me.
Why?
not in. Sorry.
That he has it, or
Yeah,
the move
that he
itself?
has it. Why? So here's the thing: if you have a fire move, why don't you incorporate it more? Why do you just do Red Hawk and that's it?
Well, first going back to Soru, he actually explained that in CP9 arc, where he said, okay, you do that by kicking very fast 10 times to the ground. So because when he was in gear second, he was able to finally see how far he could see Bueno, right? So he was able to so his reflexes or his visual or his eyes worked faster, right? So he was able to discern the move and then copy it
One
because he
second. James, I'm trying to explain that the move Fire Hawk and Elephant Sword that Luffy is doing, we have yet an explanation for both of them before we go in the actual chapter. I'm trying to explain that Oda have yet to explain to us how is Luffy doing this, so we can get to into how is Luffy literally grabbing lightning. Go ahead, continue.
yeah. So sorrow to me is not strange. It is explained. It's just we have to accept the fact that CP9 needs to train from young to learn that, and Luffy
No, no,
Luffy
no,
so
no,
talented he
not
can,
not
can
not Thor, Thor, Thor,
Thor. Oh, okay,
Thor.
sorry.
Yeah, I thought so. No, 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 Thor. The move Thor, Elephant Thor, when he did
Ah,
that against Don Chinjao. You get
uh,
you get it
yeah,
now?
okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
yeah.
why I'm waiting for Oda to explain this. And which again, if here's the thing, I have no issue with it being there as long as it's explained. I don't want it to be a plot hole.
Yeah, but I don't think we will get you will get an explanation about, like, say, the physics of why that's possible, because there are a lot of moves in of other characters as well that don't really have an explanation. Like when in CP9 arc, Zoro suddenly had sort of
Ashra.
his moves had sort of demons behind it, or Ashura doesn't really make any sense. But we just have to accept it that's certainly possible. Um, but I don't
So
mind that
okay, so
because
with
that's
this
part of
one we
One
just
Piece.
need to to
Yeah.
accept that it's just Toon World.
To a degree, but probably well, either they're gonna address it in the next chapter, or it's just gonna be that we have to accept also that it's part of his Gear 5 that he can do things that shouldn't be possible. And probably there is it's not unlimited, but within the context of like in this case, he is rubber, so lightning doesn't affect him, so he can technically touch lightning. We have to accept that he then can physically grab it and use it as a weapon.
Okay. What your thoughts on this one?
On what?
Luffy grabbing literally in lightning bolt.
Yeah, I just said it's yeah, it's fucking awesome.
You're short. Yeah. Oh, I'm curious if he created the lightning bolt or Kaido did.
Uh, can Kaido do that?
He can alter the weather, which then result in getting. I remember a few chapters ago it was raining heavy.
Oh yeah, it could be maybe I think hockey is also kind of going all over the place, but I think also maybe this explains somewhere that also can affect the weather. It's possible the clash of hockey suddenly caused a lightning storm.
He is literally now looking more like of a thunder god than a Nika god, which is basically the fire god. No, sun god, Nika.
Oh,
What is. So the behind him is literally his clothes. It's almost giving him. Yo, his clothes look fucking amazing, I'm gonna lie. Next week apparently is a break, so the week after apparently either a chapter or Golden Week or something like that. So another break. So we might have 2 week of break for One Piece. Um,
I,
yeah. Before we continue with this one, I love the moment when Kaido did a ball blast and Luffy literally lifted his entire lower half body to avoid it. That was funny.
yeah.
That was genuinely funny. And then so Kaido said, "We call this awakening," which, in my opinion, flat out confirms that he have an awakening.
Yeah, yeah, we had discussion about that. You think he's still gonna have one, and I'm
Yeah, because
thinking,
he literally just confirmed it.
yeah, yeah,
We
but
call this. Why else would he say we? Why not they call this an awakening? I am not part
yeah,
of the group,
yeah,
so
yeah. But I'm not disagreeing that he can have an awakening, but I'm saying maybe he already is in his awakened state because you don't
oh,
really see that with zone users, right? They just get tougher. I mean, he's already really tough, so
fair.
it's fun.
But they would then put a speech bubble next to it. Kaido awakened. Not consequences. The boost is more stamina, more damage, uh, but get more angry, faster angry or something like that. Just a small speech bubble that let people know you're awakened.
Yeah, I don't
So here is what I'm expecting.
know.
I'm expecting Luffy to hit him with the lightning bolt. Kaido is gonna block it by activating his awakening.
Nah, I don't think so.
That's what I'm expecting. We will see. Let me hit up Zero, see where he's at. He's late. I have the feeling he's not gonna be able to make it. Which is again, this is the very first episode, and I need to see um, how it is for everyone else. Zero. So, um, Kaido, not Kaido. So Kaido explains that this is an awakening, and he also seems to have explained that this is much, much, much bigger than something like hockey. Because while in hockey you're training with it, with devil fruit is literally taking over your body in a way. You and your devil fruit need to learn to activate, not to to interact with each other almost, to get used to each other.
Well,
It's
it's more difficult, definitely,
yeah,
because you
it's
also saw that with Kid and Law that they were really exhausted afterwards. It was their last ditch move.
nah, the kid and know that we are at our final leg, our final move for the longest. So that's not it. Um, here is the thing for me. Um, it seems to me that Sakaido have insinuated that Luffy, no, that the devil fruit almost like have its mind of its own. It's not. It's something that you need to learn to harness. It have some not consciousness, but more like it's not an inanimate object. You just eat it and you use its power. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, they explain that that especially that zones have a mind of their own anyway. Um,
Yeah, but with
and
this one, Kaido explains it when it comes to awakening in general. He's talking about devil fruits that getting awakened. This is no longer about Zoan. You can be a
I
Logia and be awakened, and you need
well
to learn to.
that's the question, right? Because we haven't seen a Logia as awakened.
We did.
Which one?
Um, oh no, we saw Paramecia awaken. Never mind. Oh, actually, you would put what's its name? Um, Katakuri in as a longer department, but it's special Paramecia.
Yeah,
But
okay, it's
yeah,
retcons, yeah.
so basically, let's face it. Akainu and Aokiji are awakened. Otherwise, it makes zero sense how they were able to alternate the weather like that.
No, I actually think that Logia probably we won't see any awaken there because yeah, what are you gonna do? There already are an element. They already can transform the environment with their because Aokichi can freeze everything, so he can turn entire island into ice, and Akainu or Sakazuki, whatever he's called now, yeah, he literally can turn into a volcano basically. So they don't need we don't need an awakening for Logia because what are you gonna do? I mean, you can already turn everything into burn everything or freeze everything. So yeah, I mean, I think probably there's gonna be some sort of rule that Logia, yeah, that doesn't work because of the nature of that fruit.
Mm. Just for answering James' question. Um, wait, what time is it now? It's say 6 a.m. 6 a.m. 6 right now is 5:30. I apologize to my friend co-host Zero. I said 6 p.m. and it's right now 5:30 for them. I hate time change so much. He's coming right now. Um,
Oh,
to answer James' question, Doffy was not the Logia. He was a Paramecia with his string devil fruit. Um, I disagree that Logia doesn't have their own awakening. Otherwise, we would have gotten the news that only Paramecia and Zoans can get awakened.
I just don't see how you would do that
I
because
mean, leave it to Oda. He will definitely find a way to do it, and
I
it's gonna make
but
sense. For
here's the
example,
thing.
for
Here's the
example,
thing. I
yeah.
don't think yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think every devil fruit we're gonna see from now on will have an awakened form. I think that's
I
also
actually disagree
explained.
with. I
It's
actually
very
disagree with that.
difficult to do. Yeah, but he said it's very difficult to do that. So it's not gonna. I mean, even with Luffy, like it only happened now by sheer coincidence, or when he actually died, right? So I think it's gonna be so. We might see maybe more, or maybe expected that we see a tough opponent that they might have an awakened Devil Fruit. But I don't automatically assume that every character that we've already seen has an awakened Devil Fruit. I don't think that's gonna happen. Still there? Omar, still there?
Oh, sorry. I muted my mic by accident. Here is the thing. Remember when we first started One Piece, how Devil Fruit were a mess, and then when we entered Grand Line, we started to see more and more, and then when we entered, and then we started to learn about the New World. We seen more Devil Fruit and more, and then we started to learn hockey exists, and that was rare. And then when we entered time skip, everyone have hockey. And now we're at a period where if you are not awakened and are not versatile and have hockey and conquers hockey, then you don't belong in an arc. Especially if you're a main villain. You can't be a main villain and not be now awakened and have conquer hockey. You need to be on equal footing with the main character, or be one footing above him.
Yeah, I look. Obviously, we're going into the end game, so it's entirely possible that we're maybe going to go straight ahead to Blackbeard. I don't think that we're going to go directly, but that confrontation is coming. Um, and sure, Blackbeard has a Logia fruit that doesn't actually give him Logia powers, but does allow him to neutralize Devil Fruit. So that's going to be the challenge. Plus the the Whitebeard's former Devil Fruit that allows him to create earthquakes. But I think it depends on how the Devil Fruit works, because it's also not just a matter of the logics, the internal logics of the world, right? That theoretically every Devil Fruit could have an awakened state, but also how are you going to do that within the story? Like, if Devil Fruit doesn't really have like, I don't think there's going to be an awakened version of it's like the Gura Gura enemy, right? The fruit of Whitebeard that Blackbeard now has, because he already can basically transform the shape of the world, right, because of his power. So either that's already awakened, but then I don't know if Blackbeard needs to awaken it again, or that's just how the power works. And then there's not going to be an awakened state, not because it's not possible in the world's logic, but just because Oda can figure out, or it doesn't make sense from a narrative perspective to have another stage to this. It's already powerful enough to be a threat to anybody he faces. That's the same thing with the Logia. I don't think there's going to be an awakened Logia, because I don't see any sense of how would you explain that? How would you show that? So I think this is more a matter of not that it's not possible, but just that it from a narrative perspective doesn't make any sense to show that.
I mean, it's Oda. He gonna figure out a way. It's the same way he did when he allowed Blackbeard to have two devil fruit. He gonna have its own explanation. You can always find a way to explain it, and you can always add power to it. It's a matter of it believable or not. And so far, what we've seen with what Luffy is doing, hey, either you believe what he's doing or you think it's not logical. Before we continue, Zero, you made it. Sorry, man. 5:36. I hate time zone so much.
Not a problem, guys. Do I sound all right?
You sound perfect. How are you doing?
Okay. I am well. I am well.
Weeb meet Zero. Zero, this is Weeb. Weeb is my one of my co-hosts on Game Slayer, and Zero is one of my co-hosts on Vitamin D podcast. And the coincidence is both of you are into One Piece, and I had absolutely no idea 2 weeks ago that both of you were into One Piece.
Yeah, he really doesn't care about our personal lives, does he, Zero?
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, are we in the One Piece? Yes or no? Like, if no, then we don't really do speak anymore, do we? I guess.
uh, so, me and we have been talking about a few for a chapter for a while, so we're gonna give you the mic. How do you feel about this chapter? What's your take?
My initial standout is that I'm glad to see Jinbei have his, I guess, pseudo hero moment. Um, I don't think we haven't had the opportunity to see too much from him because he's had other stuff to do.
To be
So him,
fair, when he first was not per se joined, but interacted with the crew, he literally guided them to safety in Fishman Island. He was a beast
I mean,
maneuvering
as
the
an
ship.
official Straw Hat. Yeah,
Oh,
I'd say
okay,
as an
yeah,
official
no,
Straw Hat. Yeah,
that's just his very first fight. So
yeah.
yeah, he had his.
And he was helpful on Whole Cake Island. He stood up to Big Mom and that type of stuff. But like this is his, to me, if I can remember correctly, his first like active. Hey guys, I'm going to save you all. Aren't you glad to have me on the team? Type
Mhm.
of situation. So I'm absolutely happy to see that. It looks like this battle will be coming to a close fairly soon. Omar, I've shared my, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but my perspective. I, it it looks like Luffy may win this, which I'm
Yep.
not too big of a fan of. Um, I still think the W should have gone to the samurai in some way or in shape or form. So
I
it's, I
mean,
guess it's,
to be fair, didn't Riser now just save the entire castle? Is that not a W by itself?
I mean, it is, but like that's the same way in like, what who's it? Rebecca's father sort of helped freeing all of the slaves and things. Like he didn't get the win on Don Flamingo though, so they are at the mercy. They were still at the help of the Straw Hat crew, i.e., Luffy. Same with King Neptune. Like he didn't save his people, like Luffy saved his people.
I
And not that
mean,
there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but like, again, the way I've always looked at it is for the samurai. When I like them a lot because usually in a lot of mangas, like the samurai are always like this third class, and like they exist all in their own space, and do their own thing, and that they abide by their own rules. So I would have liked, and like everything about them is cool. Like Odin is a beast. Um, all of the other samurais are really kind of cool, even though like I think their power set is a little hard to track down or nail
yeah,
down just how powerful they really are. Because Kinemon seemed weak when we first met him, but I would argue the first time we meet him, he's probably stronger than Zoro.
who, Kinemon?
Yeah, like when they first meet him on the island on Caesar's Island, I would argue because he hasn't necessarily gotten much stronger since then, but he's been like incredibly strong, strong enough to cut Kaido, which is certainly not something Zoro could have done when they met Kinemon the first time.
Yeah, about that, I kind of agree with you, but that's just Oda being inconsistent. Oda have a habit of being inconsistent when it comes to power up. Who is more powerful than who? It's like you. Here's the thing. For example, Zoro took a blast, a combined attack from two Yonkos and survived, but he was literally on deathbed, if not for the medic. Do you count this as a a power level for Zoro? I don't. I actually count it as this attack would literally have killed Zoro. The only reason he's still standing is because of medicine, and that's it. And that's what I mean with the Oda being inconsistent. Like for example, the cut that Odin did against that mountain god. That motherfucker is alive. Do you understand now what I mean with being inconsistent?
Well, to be fair, Oda doesn't kill a lot of people.
But it's a fucking animal.
It's just like hard to like Magellan he beat Luffy flat out.
Magellan killed motherfuckers, dude. Magellan killed people left and right.
But Luffy sort of got last minute save, so and he's the main character, so obviously last minute save. Similar with Blackbeard and his crew, because Magellan also beat them as well. But if we get back to the chapter,
the chapter.
I don't know. It looks like Luffy's going to get this win. I'm not too terribly happy about it, but it looks like Momonosuke will at least also be able to show up and actually help. So that's cool.
So, what's your thought on Luffy literally grabbing Lightning Bolt?
I think it's just more par for the course, right? Like, my assumption is that, like, again, I don't know what this fruit is, or what like real life counterpart it's supposed to represent. So I don't know what specifically this god cannot do. I was always under the assumption this was like based off the Monkey King, which would sort of make sense. And like the stretching is very similar to the Monkey King's pole. I guess you could possibly argue that the Monkey King, or for those who don't understand, think Goku from the Dragon Ball series. The Nimbus cloud, Nimbuses are clouds, and you get enough. Nami has shown if you understand it well enough, you can summon thunder from clouds. So I don't know if it's something similar to that. But right now it just seems more of like Luffy can do whatever sort of he wants to do, or whatever is required of him at the moment.
Would you think he conjures this this lighting, or was it already there?
My thought is that he pulled it out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Like if so far it seems to be very cartoony on how he's operating. So a cartoon would most certainly be able to just pull a lightning bolt from a cloud.
So this is how I see it happen. Next chapter, well, next week is a break, so the week after. Maybe the week after is also a break. This one with Golden Week or something. And so whenever the next chapter is, I'm expecting Luffy to throw the lightning bolt at Kaido, and Kaido turn into his awakening and block it.
I don't agree, but
You don't agree, but we had a conversation. I'm curious what Zero thinks.
I'm starting to get the sense that perhaps Kaido might be closer to on his last legs than I thought he was going to be. They at least somebody said I saw on the panel. I don't know who was specifically saying it. Maybe it was his kid. But like saying he's at his limit, and I assumed they were talking about Kaido. I said, well, really, is he at his limit? I mean, I guess already. I don't know. He's been fighting for a very long time. But like Kaido, I would assume Kaido was at least physically the strongest of the Yonko. Just judged by the fact, like, I don't think any of the other ones could jump off of like Sky Island and survive. So now I'm starting to think that, like, again, out of the next two chapters, I think Kaido might get beat and he's just done. So which tells me like he might not even get to the awakening part if he maybe hasn't already been in it this whole time.
I
Exactly.
we said that, but I again, my counter argument is, in order for you to be in awakening form, you gotta let the audience know that you're in awakening form. You gotta have a small bubble next to you that says awakening Kaido. Like they literally gave you a speech bubble for every single time he is in a different mode. Then why would they not give you a speech bubble when he is awakened?
Yeah, but that was a joke, right? That was sort of the angry drunk, the
No,
seductive drunk.
that's not a joke. That's literally his face.
Yeah, I know it affected his power, but it's also sort of Oda does that, with these moves that it's basically a sort of a joke on the fact that that he's a drunk and you have different emotions that people typically have when they're drunk, and that's what those phases were affecting his powers, but it wasn't like actually you don't have to take it seriously like that. It's not like it's a transformation or anything like that.
I said not no not transformation, but more like mode, which he
Uh,
was in the
it's
mood.
yeah, but I mean, you take this very seriously, but you
Like
Am I the only one that's doing that? Go ahead, Zion.
no, because I think I kind of agree with Weave and see where he's coming from. Like, there's a part of it where, like if he were fighting Big Mom or Whitebeard, or anybody, I guess, who he took seriously, I don't think we would have saw like the drunken love mode or all that other type of stuff. Because like that's not.
Hmm. One sec, guys. You here? Oh shoot.
It just gives other people, just gives some other people a leg up. Like again, I don't think he's ever coming back. But Enel is powerful, wakening or no wakening. Like I don't think he needs one, or for
I
that matter, Garp. Like I stand by my idea that like even though he's not a devil fruit user, Garp is one of the strongest people in One Piece.
oh yeah, definitely.
He simply doesn't like we judge based on position. Garp just doesn't want all that responsibility.
Yeah.
He could be fleet admiral if he wanted to, but like why? He sees what Sengoku has to go through. He's like, I never ever want to do that.
Yeah, we just an argument. I think if the user's Logia, I don't think we will see an awakening because it doesn't make any sense because they already can do what an awakened Devil Fruit user can do, basically.
Yeah, agreed with that. Like, I think it's got to be a special case. Um, I don't think it makes them less than. Like, of the three, it would be like we've not seen much of Kizaru, but we do know that like he's very dangerous. And as far as we know, he doesn't have an awakened fruit. He's just a very dangerous man. Um,
We don't know about Akainu being awakened either.
but Aikinu's already a very dangerous man.
But that's the
Like,
thing, though. Awakening is not something that Luffy that Oda touched upon early. That's literally endgame stuff.
Yeah, but not for everybody. That's kind of thing. I don't think it should follow. Yeah, like it's not like with Dragon Ball everybody needs to transform into Super Saiyan. to be able to fight with each other, right? I think there's uh there are different powers. Like hockey is still a very important power. It's not like suddenly because you have an awakened devil fruit, you can beat somebody that's more powerful in it's more powerful hockey levels if there's such a thing.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's all, One Piece has like a one power that trumps everything. It's a combination of everything.
I kind of slightly disagree with that because look at Conquer Hockey. I'm expecting Sanji to get Conquer Hockey now. If you
Mhm.
don't have Hockey, you're screwed. If you're fighting against someone with Conquer Hockey and you don't have Conquer Hockey, you're screwed. So you gotta be on top of your A game. And uh, especially
What's
now, we're literally at the end,
what type of hockey does Rayleigh have?
right? Definitely conquers hockey.
Yes.
No question asked. But he never
But
told Luffy.
yeah, but the now we knew no because he demonstrated the first thing he did because the
No,
Conquer
what I
Conquer.
mean, no, what I mean by that, he never told him that you can infuse your hockey into your ability to create.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true. Because that's kind of the thing, right? It's still a bit wish-washy because also with like with Big Mom, that she somehow is invulnerable unless she's dis emotionally distressed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it is it part of her? Is it hockey? Is it because her body is so particular? I mean, it's kind of, it's not very clear what is part of, the just say the
fair,
hockey.
I
What's
I agree with you with
yeah.
that statement. I genuinely did, which is when Big Mom was fighting against King and Law. I was not expecting them to have any chance, but Law, Devil Fruit, almost act like Ryu, Ryo, and in the sense conquer hockey in a way. Because his Devil Fruit is literally attacking your inside.
Yeah, but
To be
You,
fair,
you,
like they really didn't do much to like they didn't do much to Big Mom. They knocked her off. Like
yeah.
it's a win because they got rid of her, but they didn't beat her. They
oh
just
yeah, no, that's why I'm expecting them to find her in Albab. That's when we get the final story with Big Mom.
I don't
So
know.
so that's why yeah, Oda have a habit of leaving something open, open, and then come back at it later date. So what we're gonna do is I want you guys to comment on the second most broken devil fruit. Which one would you guys think it is?
It was broken down.
It's Razor devil fruit.
Is it?
You you can't tell me that's not broken.
Mm,
In pure, I guess, uh, non-movie fruits.
Yeah, fair. But in general, in sense of you're literally having a devil fruit that have the ability to um, suck up anything you want. That's broken.
very not specific.
No,
I would
no, but imagine if not Kaido, if Raizo suck up the attack that hit that Zoro blocked. Zoro
Yeah, but
blocked
I
it.
mean, I mean, if anything. I mean, I think the Doflamingo's that was also quite broken because what can't he do with it? I mean, he can create a clone of himself. He can control people. He can turn into fire. He can stitch himself together. The birdcage. I mean, it's also an extremely broken devil fruit.
Yes, but I'm literally not talking about the Raizo. Am I the only one that think he's broken?
Mm.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, for one, we know Raizo can't beat Kaido, so it's not particularly that.
Do
I'm not sure.
now. Imagine this. Imagine Raizo tanking the hit from both Big Mom and Kaido combined, that combined attack, and then send it back to Kaido. That should KO him.
But he'd have to tank that hit, and like, how many people
He
do that?
can though. He literally was able to tank Bottle Breath and capture it.
I mean, if this is true, then he should have been able to beat Kaido.
But that's the thing. There is that's the thing with how should I say? It, it's an inconsistency. Like we literally seeing Kaido do Bottle Blast attack, and Raizo came in and literally captured that Bottle Blast inside his scroll.
Which makes sense if what he can absorb is basically energy based attacks. If Kaido just hits him with his club, he's probably
No, but the attack from Big Mom and Kaido was energy based. The
I'm,
the
I'm just
sovereignty. It literally destroyed an entire ocean, and something next to when it hit Zoro. They were not close to Zoro when they did that move. It's
well,
almost like a Kamehameha attack.
I don't disagree, but remember, they were hiding Raizo from Jack. So if they were hiding him from Jack and he could have just handled Jack, then something's wrong.
So how was he able to
Jack,
capture the
but
Bottle
Jack didn't really have his own Kamehameha, so he was going to just physically beat him or cut him up. So that probably didn't. It's all a matter of how devil fruit powers match with each other. I mean, Burke's devil fruit, how it interacts with Big Mom's devil fruit. I mean, that's just because of his unique abilities, right? So it depends, on the circumstances. Depends, on other things like, are you physically strong enough? Is maybe your hockey enough? So I mean, it's not all that clear cut. I mean, sure, theoretically, you could say. I mean, probably somebody will in this podcast ask, could Ryzer have defeated Kaido if he did that? And he probably say, yeah, if he did that, it could have been.
So am I the only one that says this? It's not inconsistent only, but on sense of I am expecting now. Also, here's the thing. Do we say then Oda is being inconsistent with this now? Then
I wouldn't say inconsistent. I would say it's actually consistent so far based on what Raizo can do. What he seems to be able to do is take any sort of energy-based attack and absorb them and probably shoot them back. How quickly do you think two Yonko would understand that and stop shooting energy-based attacks at him?
they wouldn't, because
And
because Kaido didn't stop his battle blast from being shot shot at what's his name, Raizo.
I
It
mean,
would.
we see Kaido fight Luffy. How many times does he do the Boro Blast? Between how many times does he physically hit Luffy?
He have done
That's what
Ball Blast like at least 5 times.
he's not going to continuously like keep shooting it if he clearly sees it's not working.
Oh yeah, no. I said that move would one shot him if he get hit by it 1 time.
I mean, possibly, but like
Because
again,
you're literally doing twice an attack the power of Kaido. You have because no matter how the right Big Mom, she is a Yonko for a reason. Her power is not to be underestimated. So if she and Kaido, when they clashed, they split the sky in half. We've seen it. So her level is on Kaido's level. So imagine now two Yonko against one. That's basically the attack that what's called that Kaido and Big Mom did.
I mean, some people would say they could survive. I mean, did he shoot it back at them?
Um,
Like it's only inconsistent if he shot it back at them. Like if he
no,
didn't fire it off,
but
it,
Raizo was not there to tank it. I'm just talking in general. Can he tank? He can tank an attack like that and shoot it back at them.
possibly in a very specific circumstance, but again, that requires them to one take Rizzo seriously. Again, my first thought is that they probably won't shoot anything at him; they'll just hit him. Like when Luffy ran up on Kaido the first time, he just slapped him and kept going.
Mm.
Like
So
Boruto would be
Raizo, so Raizo,
remember, Luffy wouldn't even be
so
in his
Raizo's
dragon.
power is broken. It's just Raizo himself is weak as fuck.
That's how most of the fruits work. It's the same. I mean, we discussed it before. There's no reason why a mochi fruit is powerful in any stretch of the imagination, but katakuri is very powerful. Like mochi's just food. Like it doesn't make any sense.
I
But
mean the what is it, the obi the fruit that turns people into toys. I mean,
yeah,
if she touches a Yonko, they will probably turn into a toy.
right. And people would forget.
Yeah,
So, but my thought is that because hockey is a thing, like
yeah,
sugar,
that's yeah.
yeah, sugar could not do that to Don Flamingo. Like he was just too powerful for it to happen. Because otherwise, like Flamingo would definitely be using sugar in a different capacity. Why work for Kaido when you can be the boss yourself?
Yeah, he would probably not even let it happen because he would know, that I mean, Big Mom has like this very a very deep intelligence network. She would know, uh, what powers the members of the Flamingo's crew have. She would never let it happen. They would probably not even. I mean, Sugar would probably faint before she even approached Big Mom.
Yeah, like I'd be like, in front of Kaido or Big Mom, like Sugar could probably just be hockeyed down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to be fair, most people beat Sugar. Like, she's just uh powerful for like on Dressrosa, essentially. Like, I don't think she was even powerful enough to beat the Vice Admiral who was there. I always forget his name. The Gravity dude.
This is literally the Nico Robin effect. When she was first introduced into the story, she was literally broken. She eviscerated the entire crew in a matter of milliseconds. And when she was given to um, the crew, she was nerfed.
To be
I
fair,
don't think.
that's
Yeah.
an anime, but I don't think I don't one at least based on when we understood his power with rubber, her fruit would do nothing to Luffy. It would just stretch him out.
It's
Like
Well,
if all,
it's it depends on how you use it because at that moment they didn't know her power, so it just looked like magic basically, like telekinesis or whatever.
it is a show. We've spoken about Luffy's feet. We've spoken about uh, uh, what's his name, Jinbei. So we're expecting now, what's his name, Momonosuke to turn the shit into a big cloud and take over and prevent it from falling, right? Onigashima.
Yeah.
This would be the case.
That's the only way. And other than that, it kid running away. You have what's his name? Uh, are we expecting Zoro to stand to wake up, or is he out for the count?
I mean, he'll probably wake up. I just don't think there's anything left for him to do.
I mean, hey, believe it or not, there are people that think that Zoro is gonna cut Kaido, and yeah, there is literally something called JKK, Zoro cut Kaido, or Zoro kill Kaido, and trust me when I say this, this is not a joke. That they actually believe in that.
I mean,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
we gotta. That's a little much. One, my kill was very strong. Anything, because not a lot of deaths in One Piece. Period.
You always remind me of that. So, if you would give a chapter rating for this one, how much you would give it?
I don't know if I'd particularly rate. I've never thought about chapters in that way, honestly.
Okay, so
I'm
how much did you enjoy the chapter without rating?
I enjoyed it. I guess because like how when I read manga, I don't see. I always see them as like small individual pieces. Um, so I tend to count them as this what is it called? Um, this arc and not in any individual chapter.
Okay.
Because it's like it's right now it's basically Luffy versus Kaido, which like when run all together is really cool. But because I'm like it's Luffy versus Kaido this week, it's Luffy versus Kaido last week, it's Luffy versus Kaido week before, and it'll probably be Luffy versus Kaido the next 2 weeks. So it's hard for me to like specifically like rate. I mean, the reveal of Luffy's fruit is probably the like highlight of this whole arc. So that's probably the best chapter of this arc so far. Outside of maybe like the story of Odin, I really like Odin's story.
Oh yeah, Odin was a beast. And for you, Weed?
Yeah, I'm also not about rating it, but I did like it better than the last one. Um, and I think
You did
it's
or
great that
didn't?
I did I
Oh,
like it
okay.
better than the last one. Um, what I like is that they're also wrapping up all almost all open ends, right? Because the whole thread of the fire, that's and what's up with the rest of the crew, we know now. So basically, the next chapter can fully focus on Luffy battling Kaido, and probably Momonosuke at the end, when he beats Kaido. Oh yeah, shit, everything's still falling. He will probably conjure up, enough power to summon those clouds and save the day. Yeah. But I did like the one moment where Kaido asked him, "Who are you?" and then because there was some speculation like, is he like the reincarnation, right, of Joy Boy? And he says like, no, I'm just Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm gonna be the Pirate King. And I think there was like a similar scene previously, I think with Big Mom in the whole Cake Island arc, where he said the same thing. So it's kind of nice moment there. But yeah, I mean, I also think this is going to really wrap up pretty quickly with Kaido's defeat. And then we sort of have to see the fallout of this because, yeah, that's going to be massive, of course.
And my question will always have, what happens to Kaido?
I don't think he'll die. I think he'll get captured, probably.
And see, at least this is why, at least in my head, I wanted the samurai to handle this, or at least get the kill shot, quote unquote kill shot, because I just don't think Impel Down can hold Kaido. Like I just
Yeah,
can't imagine where they
I'm
put
not
him.
sure. I'm not. Yeah, or maybe they're gonna keep him Wano because they're not part of the world government, so they're not don't have any obligation to let the Marines in and hand over prisoners to them.
Yeah, and like my thought, yeah, because even CP0 sort of snuck in that country.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can't see Impel Down. And to be fair, I don't necessarily know if Wano can hold him either, but like perhaps they've got something hidden away to like, yeah, this is how we hold certain things for most of the time. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Because I always thought about that, like whenever they capture, like if they were ever to capture a Yonko, where would the world government put them? Because if Luffy Magellan can't he can't be the warden of Yonkos, like or anybody who's the current. I think it's what's his name, Shiryu, not Shiryu, well the Egyptian looking dude.
Hanyabo.
Yeah,
Right?
honey, yeah. Like
Yeah.
they can't be the warden of Yonkos. Like his poison won't work on them. Like it, you
Well,
just
I don't know because when they'll obviously will have Karaseki cuffs, so they will be weakened. They probably locked them up in a complete sea stone cage. So I mean, I think the implication also was that he was captured before, and they tried to execute him and it didn't work. But yeah, I don't know if he broke out on his own or that his people broke him out. They never explained that.
you just made. I forgot all about that. I think they did capture him at one point, and like the
Yeah,
execution just didn't take.
so that's also another inconsistency how they captured him. They drowned him. He drowned. He have had the G team done to him. They tried to kill him multiple times, and now with Luffy literally just one person, it's that's the inconsistency. But again, the story needs to move forward. I think Oda have a habit of it's not I think it's factual now statement. Oda have a habit of overhyping his stuff, like with example with now what Sengoku and Whitebeard said to themselves to each other about how the final arc of One Piece is gonna make Marineford look like a cakewalk or something like that. Um, that might not be the case. Like, look at how Akainu hyped up the what's called the samurais. Like, let's be real. If if Kizaru went to Wano, he would eviscerate every single last one of them. Low diff. Not even breaking a sweat.
I don't know because they are pretty powerful because they could injure Kaido. I mean, I mean the admirals they were lucky with Whitebeard because Whitebeard was past his prime and he was dying already basically, and they had a lot of strategies. If they were to go like if Kizaru wouldn't survive against Kaido. I mean, so and the
No,
samurai.
not Kaido. No. Kizaru against Kaido, that's a good conversation. No, I'm just talking about
Yeah,
Kizaru against
I know, but
what's called.
I just want to frame their power balance because yeah, they're pretty powerful, but they're not on the Yonko level, and we just saw the samurai essentially. Yeah, okay. In the end, it didn't do anything, but they were still able to injure him. So that's something, and they're incredibly powerful on their own. They just were outnumbered, so they needed help. So I think you're also underestimating them a bit.
I tend to agree a bit. I think what happened is like the Kiz what is his Kizaru, right? Not Kizaru.
Huh?
Who's our main samurai friend? I just said his name. When they found him, he was a torso. Momonosuke's dad, or quote unquote dad. Why can't I remember his name?
Forgetting it too.
Odin.
No, not Odin. I mean, not his real dad, or his retainer. Essentially, that's what he is now.
Oh, Kinemon.
Kinemon. There we go. I'm sorry. Like I think it started because Kinemon seemed so weaker than a lot of people. But there's a moment where like he cuts something and Zoro like notices it. Like, oh, this dude's kind of strong. But I tend to agree. I think because one of them was what Whitebeard's number 3, I think. We know that the dog and the cat are incredibly powerful, with or without their Sukong mode. I don't think it would be as easy as Kizaru showing up there and just wiping out the whole place, because like particularly they don't fight in the same way that like we're used to One Piece fighting. Like there's no one-on-ones here. Like all 9 of us will show up and cut you down. And I agree with Weave when it's like the part of the challenge is how they're fighting a war. And so strategically it's different than like the Straw Hat crew coming in and just making a ruckus of everything. Like there was a solid plan on what to do and how we're going to operate. You compare that to Whole Cake Island, where like there was a silent plan that immediately went off the rails. But this plan still seemed to like stay on track. They just ran into opposition, so like you got to adjust on the fly. But like I think and they were able to cut a Yonko. If you can cut a Yonko, you can certainly cut a Vice Admiral.
Interesting. I put so by this definition, Luffy is now stronger than all three admirals, including Akainu.
I would probably say no. I mean, maybe his awakened fruit mode, possibly, but like we don't know the extent of how he can use this so far. Or like, is he able to do it on command? Or is it just like most things, he's just pulling it out because he's on like death's door?
Oh, but the thing is though, yeah, okay, it depends, of course, if he can, but he will, of course. But I say at the moment, and he's gonna defeat Kaido. That's pretty much a given. I mean, he 1-on-1, he's gonna beat an admiral. Of course, when they actually confront them, they're not gonna do it 1-on-1. They're gonna do the Marineford thing, go all in, and then it's a different thing and they're gonna trick him, and they're gonna rush him with upgraded Pacifista, and so it's going to be very different. But I don't know if that might even happen. But let's say if he had a 1-on-1 with Akainu, the only problem with Akainu, of course, is how do you deal with his magma, right? Because he is that the thing is with Haki, it can protect you, but I think there's also a limit to that, right? But it can't completely nullify the physical effects that their powers can cause.
Agreed.
But still, I mean, definitely, I mean, he is now on a level where he could go toe to toe with an admiral.
Okay.
Do I see Luffy fighting? Oh, that's really tough for me. Part of it is because like the only one we've seen step out and really do something is Akainu. And I agree. Like, even if you've got hockey, you're still surrounded by magma, which is like the moment you slip up, you're like surrounded by magma, and dudes just don't jump into volcanoes in One Piece just for fun. So like, you're still in a very dangerous position with or without, him actually physically touching you.
I believe Luffy cannot beat Akainu.
Oh, no, well, I disagree. I think he can.
You can?
It's hard for me just because like if I think about what's next, and we maybe you're right because part of it is like One Piece is not a show based on one-on-ones. It is like if you're fighting the fleet admiral, you're fighting the entire world government.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that look like?
Oh no, I'm expecting a 1v1 fight between Luffy and Akainu.
I mean, I certainly think it will happen, but like, what does he have to go through to get to that 1v1? Because if we think about Marineford, Sengoku didn't even get up.
Yeah.
He was like, y'all go handle that.
With this one, okay, so we might actually get a Marineford Part 2 with Sabo being on the line now.
No, no.
And that's when you gotta see Luffy crew, his fleet, his Yonko fleet, and also his own crew, and the what's called the
I don't know.
revolutionary can come in and because here's the thing. Not Kaido, Sabo is gonna be big, and Luffy ain't gonna let his second brother die. Not like this.
Yeah, but I don't think Sabo is really in trouble. I mean, we basically there's just was a newspaper article that said I think he's probably laying low. And my theory is it's not going to be Luffy who's going to fight Akainu. It's going to be Sabo, because that was the whole big deal that Ace's fire, what was Magma's holler and fire, which actually doesn't make any sense, but that's One Piece logic.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's gonna show him one up, like like my fire is gonna burn your Magma, that sort of thing. I think that's gonna happen. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a confrontation with the the Navy or the world government, because Blackbeard hasn't really done anything.
Right.
I think he's going to make a move. I think he's going to crush the world government at some point, and that's going to set up the final fight with Blackbeard and Luffy.
I 100% agree specifically on Blackbeard. Like, I think it's pretty written in stone. He will betray the world government as soon as it's advantageous to him. He is just biding his time and waiting. But like I guess to Akinu's point, like he probably does not trust Blackbeard either. But he's a bit more arrogant than he probably should be, and is like, I can handle Blackbeard when it comes down to it. It's like, I don't think you can, bro. Like, this dude is something else, and like that's the reason why I think he's gotten so far. People keep underestimating him.
Yeah, but he's a man with a plan. I mean, it's not like he was done once he got Whitebeard's devil fruit. I mean,
Yeah.
he that became a Yonko. He already said like he wants to be the Pirate King just as Luffy, but he doesn't care how many people die. Exactly, and he's gonna take care of anybody who's gonna get in his way. So I mean, he already attacked the revolutionaries.
Yeah.
He's gonna make a move on the world government for sure.
And I wonder if we jump back to I also agree. I don't think Sabo's any real trouble. Particularly, I don't think the world government would probably kill Sabo anyway. They just sort of, if they have him, they just lock him up and throw him away. Because the whole point of killing Ace was his connection to Gold Roger, who was public enemy #1 in their eyes. And to the world, everybody knew who Gold Roger was. Like, nobody knows who Dragon is. So like if they come out and say we've killed the Revolutionary Army's like number 2, most people are gonna be like, I don't even know who that is. Like I have no
No,
sense
I
of this guy.
actually think they do because Nami like knew immediately who Dragon was. She said he was super famous, so I think the people know who Dragon is. But
Interesting. Okay.
I don't think like the blood connection was really important for them. Yeah, Sabo doesn't have that, and possibly because he has some noble blood that might even protect him. But I don't think they have him. I think because if they had, we would have probably they would have shown a scene where he was like imprisoned and beaten up. We've seen nothing. It's just the and we've seen that before, right? That there's like a newspaper article or somebody saying, somebody died, and then turns out, nothing happened really. So I don't think anything. Yeah, something happened, of course, but probably he's doing something stupid, like having a stupid disguise or something, and still sneaking around, the Holy Land or something like that. Um, I don't think that we really have. I don't think Luffy will suddenly see his Viva card or something, and oh no, I have to save Sabo. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think you're right because I think it's just too much of a repeat of the Save Ace arc.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think we need to do that again. What I will say, my personal headcanon, what I sort of hope to happen is that it's actually not Luffy or even Blackbeard who manages to get rid of Akinu. It's Colby. Like Colby
Oh,
has been one of my favorite characters since he appeared, and then when he got his like glow up, I was like, oh, so
mhm,
they're positioning Colby to be like Garp. And like
this one, yeah.
we know historically, Garp threw hands with Gold Roger regularly. And so I'm hoping like Colby seems to have a bit more specific view of how the world government should run. Because by the end of this, the world government will be changed completely. And like the new era will come in and operate it. Because I think Garp has that vision too. He just doesn't want to do anything, or he's old and he can't
Mm.
change what's been done. But I would love to
Interesting.
see Kobe beat Akinu for right to rule or to be the. Maybe he might not immediately transfer to Fleet Admiral, but to like be the change in the world government.
Interesting.
That's a good point though, because they are part of what was it called again? This other
Sword.
organization, Sword, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they're because this is sort of the Navy's intelligence agency thing, as opposed to CP9 being the world governments or
Mm.
Cypherpol. And yeah, it doesn't look like they're on, yeah, both. Yeah, it's I guess maybe kind of like like the CIA and the FBI or NSA, like so that different intelligence agencies that not necessarily are working with each other or have different goals. But yeah, I also think that could be like the setup for him, that this is also an organization that he probably um, uh, staffs with people that are like-minded, that and he trying to, as he said, change the organization from inside.
Yeah.
And maybe that's gonna at some point come to blows where there's actually because we also know that there's a possibility that Alabasta was destroyed, right? Because they were gonna punish one of the countries, and
Hmm.
so that could also be like, sorry, look, no, the world government has gone too far. We really need to do something. They might have, we might need a coup or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking like how it operates in the Full Metal Alchemist series, where like they've uncovered the truth, and it's like, okay, you people are insane. We need to get you up out of here because like this is not how Kobe would never bomb an entire island to get one little girl.
Yeah.
It's like that's just not what we should be doing. Well, like in the world government has no problem bombing as many islands as possible to get to one little girl. Who
How?
like they don't even know specifically knows the truth, just has the potential to know the truth.
How strong is Kobe right now, do you think?
I have no clue. At first, I thought they were like leveling him. They were speed leveling him to be like somewhere on par with Luffy. But now that Luffy's fruit has awoken, I don't know.
Last we saw him, I think he's on Vice Admiral level.
The,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
okay, and he is heading to what's called Hancock Island.
I don't know where is that where Kobe's going. I don't know where he
Yeah,
is currently.
He is heading there.
Well,
We've seen it.
he shows truth.
Yeah,
So
I completely forgot what like
I remember
the
Kobe
only
was on the phone with Drake, and he told Drake we're heading towards the Princess Island,
okay.
Snake Princess Island, or
But
whatever you want to call it.
then they probably realize they're both in love with Luffy. So
That
Yeah,
could
basically
be
like well,
it.
it
That
can only be
could
one
be
of us.
it. Yeah, exactly. But other than that, great show, first episode. Again, Luffy holding a freaking electricity, not electricity, lightning, which boggles my mind. Can't wait for the next chapter. Anyway, this been me, Weeb, and Zero. First time we have a few other co-hosts in here, and also as for the name, I have a few interesting name for the show. Um, I'm gonna DM you guys the name and give me your opinion about that. Go ahead, do guys your outro. We start with Weep, where people can find you.
yeah, this is the Weep Sheriff, aka Blue Rhizome, as known on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah, at Infinite Rhizome or the Weep Sheriff. Yeah, great show and yeah, nice meeting you, Zero.
And you, Zero, where people can find you.
Absolutely nice meeting you too as well. I as I say, I tell Omar all the time, like I just like talking about this stuff. So it's great to have other people to talk about it with, man. So like whenever I can, I'll always be here. But I'm zero.exe. I'm on Twitter. Of course, I'm on Vitamin G on Mondays. At geez, what time do we get on? 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Um, and I just like to talk about video. I'm a nerd. I like to talk about video games, movies, and anime stuff.
Welcome to the group. And as for me, people can find me at Carb_Job on Twitter, and Gameplayer, Vitamin G, and of course, every Sunday at Ghost Garage Gaming. And we're out of here.